In this video, I'm going to share with you my LinkedIn profile tips that will help you to get more clients. In a previous video, I told you that designers were leaving Instagram and you should probably move over to LinkedIn to help you to get clients. But you're probably wondering, how do I optimize my profile to turn people on LinkedIn into my clients? In this video, I'm going to show you 7 ways that you can use your LinkedIn profile to get clients. I'm also going to go through real life examples of other designers' LinkedIn profiles and show you where they can improve. And this will help you to improve your profile as well. Just before we jump into that, if you haven't already, you should download our free course to get your next client in just 5 days. The link will be below this video in the description. So we're going to check out some of the Motion Hatch students' profiles from our Course Balance Business Bootcamp, and we're going to point out some of the ways that they can improve their LinkedIn profiles, and hopefully you'll be able to improve yours as well. So first, let's start with Josh. So Josh is doing a really good job at the top here. So he has animator, illustrator, art director in his banner. Obviously this is some of his work as well. He's also got a URL for his website and also his contact information. So I think Josh is doing a great job with this banner here, and definitely the banner is a place where you can utilize it to showcase your work as well, especially if you're a designer or an animator. So I like that Josh has open to work. I think that's really good for a freelancer. The next thing I want to talk about is this headline. Now this headline follows you around in LinkedIn. So whatever you put on this headline actually shows up when you comment on someone's posts, when you make your own posts. So it's really important to think about what you could include in this headline. So Josh has gone here for keywords, which I think is good. So freelance animator, illustrator, art director. So if you're searching for one of these things in LinkedIn, then hopefully Josh is going to come up. But there are a number of ways that you could think about your headline. So for example, if we go to my LinkedIn profile, I have helping motion designers to build a successful business and career to give them the freedom to do the things they love. So I'm telling you who I help, how I do it, and also, why someone would want to follow me. You could also think of the headline as what you want to be known for, or you could put your mission in there. This is essentially something that does follow you around a lot. So it's really important to spend some time thinking about it. So the next thing that Josh has done really well is that he has utilized the new link in the profile feature and put his website right up top here. This is fairly new on LinkedIn, so most of you might not know that it exists, so definitely add your link in there. If you go to my profile, you'll see that I've actually labeled this Attract High Paying Clients, and it is a link to our free course. So by adding Attract High Paying Clients, if you want to get high paying clients and you see this, then you're probably going to click on this link and you're probably going to go to our free course and sign up, which is what I want you to do. So if you're a designer or an animator, what should your call to action be? Well, it should be either to book a call with you to discuss a project or to go to your website, and ideally to go to a page where they can easily find your contact details. This is really, really important, but more on that later. So I believe Josh has the creative tools on, which means that you can actually follow people and not just connect with them. And I really recommend doing this because you will actually have followers and connections. So it just means you can be a little bit more selective about the people that you actually connect with. And maybe that's people that you have actually worked with before and do actually know, but it means that other people can follow you too. So I'd really recommend that you turn on those creator features in there. Let's move down a little bit on Josh's profile. So he has his latest reel as his first featured post here, which I think is really, really great. It's definitely a good idea if you're an animator to put your reel in the featured section. So I would definitely do something like Josh has done here. I think he's done a great job where he has his reel, then he has his projects, and he also has his resume. So I would definitely recommend doing that. It looks like he's been posting pretty consistently, which is really great. So you want to be consistent with your posting so that it looks like you're really active on LinkedIn as well. And if we go to his about, I think he has some things here, who he's represented by. I would tell him as well that he should probably add his own email in here too, because this is a space what you can utilize so that people can contact you easily. So whatever your call to action is, I would put that in here too. And with this, you can make your own company profile so that you can assign some of your branding into this, because this is obviously Josh's company. So he might want to think about making a company profile on LinkedIn, even if it's just to get a nice little picture of his work here or something like that. The rest of this looks really good. Another thing that you must think about when you're thinking about your LinkedIn profile is getting as many recommendations as you can in here. So a good way to do this is to actually send an email before you ask for the recommendation and say, is it okay if I ask you for a recommendation on LinkedIn, but then also can I use it on my website as well? Because then that means you can also use it as a testimonial too. So overall, I think Josh is doing a really great job, and it's a really good example of a really well filled out LinkedIn profile. So let's move on to Ben next. So Ben has freelance motion graphic designer editor at Netflix, so that's good. This is showing some credibility. I think that if he was wanting to get some other clients, maybe having Netflix at the top there might confuse people, because they might think, okay, is Ben available now for other freelance work? I believe that he is, so I would think about maybe adding that in there somewhere, but maybe not right at the top. Ben also has utilized the URL here, which I think is really good. Another thing that I would talk about is definitely having a professional headshot is a really good idea. I think Ben has a nice one here. Might be good if he had a front facing one. I always think it's nicer if you can see the whole of your face, and maybe a smiley one, because people love smiley, happy faces. I like that Ben is showcasing that he does some camera work here, but knowing Ben, I think that he wants to get more into motion design. So if I was him, I would think about how can I showcase some motion design work here instead, if that's the direction that I want to go in. So again, with the featured posts, I think that Ben has done a good job. He has his show reel here. He has his shooting show reel. And again, I would think about if Ben, as I know he does, wants to go more into motion design than shooting, maybe I would prioritize having motion design and maybe something else to do with motion design here as well. I think having Netflix in here's experience is really, really great. Obviously, you know, big companies, if you can put them in there, it shows a lot of credibility. I know that a lot of people do this thing where they have different clients that they've worked with and they put that in their experience so people can see that they regularly work with different clients as a freelancer, which I think is a good idea. I would just say if you are going to do that, that you should keep up with it and not just put one or two, and keep up with month to month which clients that you're working with. So next we have Kelly Kurtz. So Kelly is also saying she's a freelance illustrator and motion designer, which I think is good. Potentially she could add a little more there. Like we were talking about, maybe utilizing some of what her mission is, because I know that she's very passionate. She's got her URL in here, which is really good, but maybe you could also add your email too. With the featured posts, I think I would go for less and what is the main call to action. So maybe it's like book a call with you, maybe it's to see your show reel or to see your website. I know that Kelly also does some painting and stuff like that, so maybe she would want to add that in there too. And the same with Kelly, I think that she could make a company LinkedIn profile so that she has some nice branding here. And then I think it also, when you do that, yeah, it has it at the top, and I think it just makes it look more professional. It's nice that Kelly's included her work here, but I think like Josh did, she could probably utilize this space a little bit better. Now, Kelly's done a really good job here of getting some recommendations from her clients. So she's got 6 different recommendations here and they all look quite detailed. So I think that's really, really good. So let's take a look at Mike from Tracks and Layers next. So Mike is a founder and head of creative at Tracks and Layers. So he actually runs his own studio. It looks like he's got the creator tools turned on, which is great. And he's also utilizing this URL here, which is really good. He looks like he has his company profile all filled in as well. I imagine that's because he runs his own studio. Potentially adding a little bit more here about himself and about his studio too, and definitely having the website and the email in there as well. I think instead of having another picture of him here, I would probably suggest maybe having some work from Tracks and Layers or something like that with the URL of the studio. I think that would probably be a little bit more effective. So next we have Paul. So as you can see, Paul doesn't have anything in his banner, so he definitely should be utilizing this area to help him to get more clients. And I think that he could probably add a few more keywords in here. He currently only has motion graphic designer. If he does anything else, or if he wants to talk about, you know, what niche he serves or what kind of clients he has and stuff like that, I think that could be really good. So it's great to see that Paul has been commenting on other people's posts and putting some valuable comments, because when you put a comment on someone else's post, it actually shows up in your feed too. So it will help you to stay top of mind with your clients. I'd also say to Paul to add the featured posts section for sure and put his website and his reel. I don't think anywhere right now we have his website on here, so I think that would be really good. So let's see what happens when we go there. Yeah, so it's really difficult when you don't have a company profile and you don't have your website anywhere or your email. It's very, very difficult for clients to contact you. So what you want to think about when you're looking at your LinkedIn profile is, where can I put on this how they can contact me, how they should get in touch, how can I make the client do what I want them to do, what is my call to action, and where should they go next after they visited my LinkedIn profile. So there's definitely lots of room for improvement here on Paul's LinkedIn profile, but hopefully he can watch this video and he can get inspiration from the other students that we're showing in this. So the first thing that I noticed when I come to John's profile is that he doesn't have anything in the banner. And like I've said before, this is a really great place to show people what you do and show them your work. So I definitely think that John should update that, and maybe a couple more keywords like animator and things like that. He has got his website in the featured post as the main thing, so that's really good. It's great to see that John has been posting a lot on LinkedIn recently. It's good to post about once a week on LinkedIn and then go in and comment on other people's posts at least once a day. And if you're unsure what you should be posting on LinkedIn, we have a free social media guide, and I'll put the link below this video in the description. One thing I would give John a thumbs up for is that he has a really nice clear profile picture of himself, and also he has the open to work banner, which I think is really, really good. So it's great to have a professional photo of yourself, and I know it's a little bit scary to get someone to take photos of you, but it's really, really worth it, and it makes a big, big difference. So finally, let's go on to Roberto. So what I like about Roberto's profile is it seems very on brand for his website. So on his website, he has this motion sickness kind of banner as well. And I like that his profile picture is kind of matching the banner. I think that's really cool. I think potentially he could utilize this banner in a better way, maybe showing some of his work, but I like that it seems very on brand for him. One thing that Roberto has done very well is that he's clearly put his email in his about section. So I think that that is very good, and he's put his website here as well. And another great thing that we haven't seen on anyone else's profile is that he has put who he's worked with in his about section. And I think that this really gives him a lot of credibility. So I would encourage you to put some of your clients in your about section too. It's great that Roberto has put his company profile in here because it looks really nice with all the branding and stuff like that. What I would say that I think Roberto could really do with some recommendations, because he's pretty close with this profile, but just to take it to that next level, having testimonials or recommendations can really help you to get clients, because if you have similar work to somebody else And the only difference is that you have recommendations and testimonials saying that you're a great person to work with. The client will probably then pick you over the other person because it's one distinguishing factor, but also because they know that you're a great and nice person to work with. So I'm just going to quickly summarize some of the tips today for your LinkedIn profile. So the first thing that you should be concentrating on is what it says in your headline. So you can either think of this as who you are, what you do, and how you help, or you can think about it like, what would your ideal client be searching for if they're searching for someone like you on LinkedIn? So are you a freelance animator, a motion designer? Are you an art director, an illustrator? And what keywords can you put in that headline to really help you be found by your ideal clients? So the next place to utilize on your LinkedIn profile to really help you to get clients is, of course, the link in the profile, because you want to have a really strong call to action there. So you could either have it to your website so they can see more of your work, or maybe even ideally having it to a Calendly link so that they could book a call with you directly to talk more about a project, because this would actually help you to not have clients go to your website and just have them to book a call with you straight away so they can talk to you about a project that they have in mind. Remember to always utilize the banner to show more about your work and what you do. I think it's a great idea to include your URL here and also maybe even your email so they can easily view your work and contact you. And please get a professional headshot. It's really important because it makes you look more trustworthy, and it also shows that you care about the details and that you're a professional person to work with. I'd also recommend you create a company page with your branding so that you can include it in the experience section and it looks really nice and professional. And my final little bonus tip for you today is, if you're posting on LinkedIn, don't put the link in the actual post. If you want to drive people to your website or another place off the LinkedIn platform, always put it in the first comment, because LinkedIn won't show your post to as many people if it thinks that you're trying to drive people away from the LinkedIn platform. Now that you know how to optimize your LinkedIn profile to get clients, can you actually get a client in 1 week on LinkedIn? Well, I found out in this video that you should watch next, and if you actually want to get a client in just 5 days, you can download our free course. The link will be below this video in the description.